Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Animation Analysis. As always, I'm Sam.
And hello, my epic gamers. I am immortal.
Oh my god. Anyways, so today we have one of the more requested episodes, Madara vs. Aizen, and after the last fight was kind of okay, and the fight before that was awful, we got back to a god tier episode because we got a lot of good things to say about this one.
Oh, hell yeah. There's. Again, just. This episode is good.
Honestly, a good chunk of this. I'll bring up the comparisons later, but now let's get into it, shall we?
Indeed.
All right, starting off. Before we do, again, credits to the overall environment. This looks amazing.
Well, we don't really get to explore it like in other fights, like
Yeah, but there's a certain shot using the environment I'll bring up later. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but there's a
It
certain
still looks great.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
You can see me.
I can see everything.
Okay, there's a small hiccup here with the animation. That if you look at the fire, there's a weird cut with the looped. Yeah, like right there. There's a weird cut with the fire.
I noticed that.
Yeah, it's a little jarring, but and it's still the beginning of the fight. Aside from that, though, I really love Madara's their sprite. Aizen's looks pretty well detailed. I do like it. There's some
The only problem I
jank here
have
and
with this
there.
sprite is that
Yeah.
he looks sunburnt.
Yeah, kind of. Oddly enough, though, despite looking sunburned, he looks paler than Madara here. Another thing is, Madara, I will say, Madara's sprite noticeably looks a lot better, though.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Because his voice in general is just great.
yeah.
You can see me.
I can see everything.
Okay, also, that's honestly, him switching his appearance to, his post defection, that was pretty smooth. Also, this is a really cool shot.
Did you see that?
That's really cool.
It is. Also, I want to take a moment to say,
Yeah?
these sprites are slightly bigger than what one melee did.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, well, we can probably run the comparison later, but I will say that this does look really good, much better than the one in Melee already.
We're probably gonna have a lot of comparisons to it, honestly.
Okay. First thing I want to compliment. Normally, puppet animation has noticeable jank. I don't really see that much here. At the first
It's really...
yeah, the first bit of choreography is fairly smooth.
I can still notice a little bit of jank, and it kind of takes me out of it. But at the same time, it's not super bothersome.
Also,
I think this is the most
yeah.
problems I have with the fight as a whole.
Yeah.
Everything onward
There
from here
is
just
still some
fantastic.
jank, but compared to older puppet style episodes, this one has much less, which makes sense. As they go on, they're gonna get better at it. But I will say, also, the sound design for when their weapons clash is fantastic.
Yeah.
You can just feel the heavy strikes behind all of their hits.
I'm not gonna say it, but you know what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're freaking thinking.
Okay, a little bit of an error there. When he speaks, and even when he's yelling, his mouth doesn't move.
Yeah. That's I noticed that too. It's a minor thing, but it's kind of jarring considering their lips. I think this is the only time where their mouth doesn't move when their face is shown and they speak. Maybe there's one.
For all we
I
know,
don't
it could be an illusion.
There's that too. Also, the Susanoo, first bit we get of the Susanoo, and it looks, and just the ribcage and arm alone looks really good.
Mhm.
Oh, and I love this part. that distortion effect of
love the
Madara gets torn
effect.
up. Like look
Yeah,
at the
that's
slash.
so good.
Like, you can see, like, the background is shifting. Almost like dimensions itself is being cut. It's so cool. And when Madara gets stabbed for the last
Like
hit...
you're looking through,
Yeah.
like, shards of glass.
Yeah, and when Madara gets hit on the last one, all of the cuts have that lightning effect to, like, emphasize them. Also, this is a minor thing. I really like the animation of Aizen flicking the blood off of his coat there.
The character animation, like this, goes a long way.
And continuing on for, like, how amazing the animation is. Just Madara dispelling the illusion. With the, like, similar to like, how Aizen flashing space apart, when Madara dispels the illusion, there's a glass shattering effect. That's really cool.
I also like how after this he's just.
Oh yeah, and what
there,
you think? I don't know. Madara would like, try breaking the sword, pulling himself off of it, or I don't know, pulling a juice. No, he just headbutts him. And look at his face. Look at his face. Okay, there is one issue I do.
It does have that.
Yeah.
It does have that problem I have with the tinier sprites that smash with the bigger ones to make the facial expressions. At the same time, I don't mind it here.
Because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
There is one problem I do have with Madara doing the headbutt here. Is that, the part of his armor that was broken shifts down like that. You can, like, see it over here. And there's not a lot of sound of, if I go back and play, I don't think there's a lot of sounds, like, of him, like, ripping himself across the sword or something. There's, like, one, but it's not too noticeable.
I can barely hear it.
Yeah. Maybe it was a little louder, like, emphasize the fact that he's been impaled, but it's fine.
At the same time, would he really care?
Yeah, that's true. And also, just Susanoo pile driver. Boom.
Mere parlor tricks.
Another thing, going back into, like, just minor stuff in animation, when Madara says mere parlor tricks, you can, like, see him, like, move his head. Like, his hair's segmented in two, so, like, it's emphasizing movement. Like that. It's a really neat detail.
Again, these little bits of animation, character animation, go a long way.
Yeah, which understandably makes sense because I do believe both Madara and Aizen have completely new custom sprites for this episode.
I believe they're all custom.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Okay, now during this form, Aizen. And this is what I wanted to talk about for animation. When Aizen unleashes that slash, that explosion, and just the entire area being, like, shredded apart. Like, you can see the blocks of the wood from Madara's jutsu earlier just all be sliced. That's really well done.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's a lot like in Aizen's fight with Ichigo, where their sword wings just destroyed mountains. A lot like that.
I also like again, going on with the character animation thing, the whole and final destruction also really helps to sell them, like their powers and stuff.
And this is probably the most, what I consider the worst part of the episode, is just Aizen's sword swing animation here. He just moves his arm down only. It's like, he just, boom, that's it.
I think it's meant to be like that.
Yeah, I know it's meant to be like that, but I can't help but, it feels like a little, Oh, and
that facial animation that feels a tiny bit off.
It feels a little.
I know this is a weird comparison to make, but it feels like a facial animation 1 minute melee would do.
I can understand what you're saying. Actually, I checked the animator list earlier, and it looks like a lot of the 1 minute melee animators came back for that battle and worked on this one, I think.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, maybe it makes sense, and some of them did work on the 1-minute melee version of Madara vs. Aizen as well. Aside from that, another thing, Madara Susanoo, this hand-drawn Susanoo here looks great.
You don't really get a good look at it for long, though it is really well drawn.
Yeah, like, it's kind of a shame. They put a lot of detail into that Susanoo only for it to, like, have a 2 or 3 seconds of screen time, but it's still good. And then the Black Coffin, which Madara breaks out of in the most Madara way possible. Okay, and this is something I want to think was a really good idea. We don't actually see the 10 tails directly. We just see, like, its looming shadow and the reflection and its eye, which honestly sells the more ethereal feel it has. Like, you know how it was back in Dio vs. Alucard? Alucard had this, like, element of being like an eldritch abomination.
Yeah?
It's a lot like that, except we don't see it, but we can feel, we can essentially, like, feel just how powerful it is, and then just Madara absorbs its power and becomes a Jinchuriki almost instantly. I honestly liked how they handled it here, because it could have, knowing it would have been possible that if they instead, like, hand drew the 10 tails, we wouldn't have gotten as much of an effect compared to, like, just seeing it in shadow.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Also, going on, continuing Fighting Sprite, Madara's 10 tails Jinchuriki sprite looks fantastic.
Oh yeah, it seriously does.
Really?
And there is, like, when we get to the close-up of it, like the hand-drawn bits.
Like,
Pause? There's error by his eye. They forgot to remove a thing
yeah, the...
right next to it, you can see.
Wait, are you talking about the blue part right next to his left eye?
Yeah.
I don't think that's actually an error. I think that's part of that, like, weird, like, hold on, let me... I think it's actually, if I remember from Ichigo's artwork, I think that's actually part of his, like, the weird headpiece thing he has. Because it does hang off to the left slightly, if I remember correctly. Aside from that, if it is intentional, that's, aside from that, though, this hand-drawn is...
I don't think it's visible in the other hand-drawn bit, though.
To be fair, the other hand-drawn bits from Madara have different artists, so... But yeah, aside from this, this hand-drawn bit of, like, 10 tails of Madara looks beautiful. Like, there's so much detail in this one here.
Oh, yeah. Like, holy shit.
Like, now you can understand here why they'd only have this one for a few seconds, since this one has so much detail in it. But man, looks great. Going on. Also, the facial animations here, just Aizen being smug with his shield, and then when Madara absorbs it, you just see, oh.
Oh.
It's so good.
And this is what I always adore. Just where the character goes, no techniques, no magic, no energy attacks.
Oh,
nothing.
yeah.
I'm just gonna fucking beat you.
Just... You know, I'm gonna bring up the... You know what's interesting here? Like, hold on, let's just do this. I'm gonna say that had more impact when Hulk did the slamming and Hulk vs. Broly, but here's the interesting thing, is that if I listen carefully, I think it's actually the same sound effects, but the overall animation emphasizes it, and it actually works compared to Hulk vs. Broly. Because you can actually feel the power behind Madara slamming Aizen into the ground.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and going on. Also, this is something, a little inconsistent thing I don't like. It kind of throws things off a bit here. Is like, he just throws Aizen, but mid-air, we don't see it. It's like Aizen instantly recovers and just goes straight for the meteor. Like, maybe if we had a shot of him, like being, then, I don't know, like, flipping around into a cover flight position, it would have worked, but nah, it just cuts straight to him in the position already.
Yeah, I can see how that...
So just that's a good kind of animation. And I don't know, I'm actually not sure how come Aizen got surprised when the explosion happened, but yeah. Okay, this is another thing I noticed. You can clearly see the cut part before it even splits in the first place.
My problem with this is I'm not sure what makes Aizen transform. He just vanishes.
Yeah, that's
and
actually
then-
another complaint. Like, I noticed this happens a lot with Aizen. Like, I'll go to, like, yeah, he just gets knocked away. He just disappears, goes behind that meteor somehow, but then slices it in half and goes into his final form. Which, okay, before I start praising, I want to say that's actually kind of a problem Aizen has a lot with this episode. Is that he just randomly cuts straight to his transformations, and there's a lot of awkward cuts regarding Aizen. Like, his first transformation was in just a smoke, and like I said, the weird transition part when he was thrown, and now this, he just randomly goes final. Like, I guess you could argue that makes sense for Aizen because of this whole, like, illusions thing. Like, maybe you could argue the one Madara threw was an illusion, and this one was that the actual Aizen was hiding somewhere to transform. You could argue that, but they'd have to, like, show it pretty well or something like that in the animation, you know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But on a side note, I want to praise this. Aizen's final, just like Madara's 10 Toes into Gravy, Aizen's final appearance here. Like,
This looks beautiful.
yeah. Like, even when it's bent like that to, like, show, it doesn't feel flat. You can, like, the way they bent it slightly, you can, like, it has a slight 3D effect to it. And I really, like, compared to, like, say, Batman vs. Iron Man, where you could noticeably tell that they were just flat sprites on a 3D area. This one doesn't have that issue.
Mm-hmm.
And also, just the shadow before we see the Susanoo. That is great.
It is.
Again, the Susanoo hand-drawn is really good. Oh, and another credit to sound design. When right before the Susanoo blocks the barrage, yeah, if you listen carefully, you can actually hear Aizen yell before the attacks happen, and if you're wearing headphones, you can actually hear it from the left side of the screen, that's a really neat detail.
Excellent sound design, man.
Yeah. Again, there's a little bit of off here because the explosions are kind of flat against the Susanoo, but you only see them for a few seconds, so it's not too annoying. Like, there are some issues here when like mid-flight his sprites do look flatter, but that's only just like mid-animation. Like, they're only for like they're like, you could consider them like, you know, smear frames in animation. It's a lot like that.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a bit of an issue with the hand-drawn here, and that's the frame rate when he initially summons them.
Yeah. The frame rate is iffy.
Yeah, which is kind of odd because the frame rate with Aizen's like that attack is kind of inconsistent. Like, as you'll see when Madara's clones attack it, like that one, if you see here, like this one's frame rate's slower. This one has a much higher frame rate. This one's frame rate's really good because they had to animate it getting destroyed by the Truth-Seeking Orb. And then that one has a slower frame rate again, and this one's just a still image until it gets hit. Like, Aizen the Dragons, it has a widely inconsistent frame rate until even the final one, when it approaches, it's slightly off. Aside from that, though, also, it's kind of, Madara fighting them with the Truth-Seeking Orb is kind of janky, because what is he trying to do here? What was that? And it's inconsistent too, because when he throws the Truth-Seeking ball, it just eats it, and it's perfectly fine. Then he does that to another one, and it destroys it.
Yeah, that's a bit awkward.
I guess they wanted to, like, showcase it as even, but at the same time, it's kind of janky to do that, but yeah.
Also, if I had a nickel... Okay, so this
Go
is
on,
like the
I'll
second
get
time
right
in
to
a
it
death
right
battle.
before he grounded it.
This is the second time in a death battle we've had a character use dragon-shaped attack against the perfect Susanoo.
Yeah.
In a death battle setting, and I
Both
just find that
Uchiha
humorous.
too.
I mean, I think the only other character who's ever done the perfect Susanoo was
That wasn't
Kakashi.
Yuichiro, it was Kakashi, yeah. And also, something I really... Oh, there's a bit of an animation error here.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
To be fair, we like, going back, I don't think we see... Like, I'll go play it slower. We don't... Yeah, we only see it for, like, 1 or 2 frames, so it's not too noticeable. But yeah, another thing I like, when Madara's just sliding across, like, the animation slightly changes here. So, like, it's like he's, like, tearing through the back of the dragon. That's really cool. Okay, and Madara's face here kind of looks a little off.
It does, but at the same time, I guess it's fine.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, considering the faces Madara is known for making in canon Naruto, so... Yeah. But as for the laughing animation, Aizen's, I think, is a lot better. Specifically because the way the sprite is made feels like it had a laughing animation in the first place in comparison to Madara's being an extra layer.
Yep.
Like Aizen's laughing animation is very smooth here. I really like how they did it, and also this feels like it'll be a meme somehow. I don't know how, but it feels like it'll be a meme.
Shot is good.
Oh yeah, it is a really good shot, and it has a certain detail which I'll go on over later. Oh, and that explosion's great, but we get to probably one of the absolute best fake outs in the entire series.
You almost had me there, you tricky bastard.
What I like there is that it's a semi-reference to what Madara said to Might Guy when he almost got killed by him. And then, so we just see Madara's supposed corpse fall down. I mean, Aizen's corpse supposedly fall down. Then, in a direct reference to how Madara was defeated in canon, he gets stabbed in the back by a shadowy figure. I really like that.
I find it weird how it's... I get it's a reference, but how it's obscured, like, who the fuck else is fighting? Why not just show it's Aizen?
I guess it was probably because, like, you know, Aizen and his whole illusion shtick.
Yeah, I guess. Also, I fucking love the delivery of this line.
Oh yeah, we'll get the voice acting after, but yeah.
Oh my god, that is so good.
And then the reveal.
You can see his jaw move.
Yeah, that is so well done. And we just get this really great scene of just the environment being destroyed by the meteors. It's so cool. There's a little bit of issues here with, like, the remaining parts of Aizen's body being kind of jank, like, they're a little flat, but it's honestly fine considering, like, the nature of the shot. Also, a neat detail is you can tell exactly when Madara actually places Aizen into Genjutsu. It's like back during the shot when they were both laughing. If you pay attention closer, you can hear the Sharingan sound, and Madara's animated with the Sharingan instead of the Rinnegan. That's a really, really good detail.
It's an easy to miss detail too if you're not paying attention too heavily.
Yeah. It's just really, overall, just... Yeah, and then just...
What a wonderful dance.
I think I'll just leave the pause frame as we continue the rest on this, because it's a really cool shot. But yeah, like, overall, just... This animation is just really, really good.
Like, I would put it on the same level as, honestly, Dio versus Alucard.
Dio versus Alucard and Goku After Reverse Flash are absolutely the best sprite animations we've gotten this season.
And they honestly feel like they've just had tons and tons of love like put into them.
Yeah, there's like tons of love and effort put into all of them. And now, let's get into like some of the voice acting stuff. Is like, first off, first Madara, we had Nicholas Andre Louis again, who does a pretty decent job. Like, there are some moments where he sounds kind of off, like his little speech before about the battle right before Madara starts laughing. That kind of sounds like a little stilted, but honestly, it's kind of sounds in line to how Madara does sound in the anime's dub. There's like this little stiltedness to his dub voice actor that like prevents him from going all the way with his voice to like show like an odd level of like control with Madara's voice. Maybe it's an artistic choice, but I think that the voice Nal did for Madara worked pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other end of things, you have Philip Sacramento as Philip Sacramento. I got his name right. Who plays Aizen, and he does a fantastic job just selling the cold, calculating just player Aizen is, as well as just like how he is going quite insane and arrogant once Aizen gets serious. It's also a far cry considering his past roles in Death Battle were Yoda and Akuma, who their both sound absolutely nothing like Aizen. It just shows how wide his vocal performance is.
Mm-hmm. And again, his delivery of his final line, and I love it.
It's a lot like honestly, I've just been loving it. As someone that looks into voice acting stuff a lot, I really love just like the high quality vocal performances we've been getting this season. Like, even if the voices don't fit, like the big one being Gianni, like Shao Kahn, for example, he still did a pretty good job doing a voice, performing as a voice actor, though.
Mm-hmm.
Now, going back to this episode, this one's on. And, one more thing before we get to the ranking. Hollow Dream is an amazing track. Like, man.
Oh my god. Yes, it's so fucking good.
Like, not only is it just a good track for this fight, the fact that it has some cues from Dangerous Gaze, which is already another great track, it's just really good. I don't know how to praise the music even more. This season has just been like full of musical bangers for like really good episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm honestly, but going into ranking, I'm honestly not sure. I feel like Madara versus, personally to me, I feel like Madara versus Aizen should get a 10 out of 10. Like the small issues here and there, like compared to like Joe versus Alucard, where some of the small issues were a bit more noticeable. This one, the small issues are just like even smaller. Like they barely really affect the overall quality of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'd give it 10 out of 10. What about you, Immortal?
Honestly, 10 as well.
Yeah, from both of us, 10 out of 10. This is a really, really good episode. Like, we can't really praise it enough. It's just like, there was clearly a lot of love put into it. What makes it more interesting is, like, another thing I really have to praise the animation is there's not as much destruction compared to other fights. Like, they blatantly stated in the analysis that both Madara and Aizen were capable of, like, destroying planets and shit. But, or at least several continents. But this battle, like, stays in this, like, small rocky desert, but it completely sells the sheer power behind both of the characters, which is really well done. You don't need to, like, destroy entire planets just to sell how strong a character is.
Yeah.
Another thing that I want to also is just like the previous episodes, like Goku Black vs. Flash and Dio vs. Alucard, who are honestly just the two main contenders for this, like probably being Season 8's best episode. It's just the character interactions too. Just Madara and Aizen going back and forth was just fantastic.
Yeah. I can't really say a whole lot.
Yeah, since
you
don't know as much Naruto and Bleach compared to I do, which makes sense. But the fact that you give it 10 out of 10 with your lesser knowledge of both series, like, I know you gave it 10 out of 10 to Goku Black Reverse Flash, but that one you had a fair bit of knowledge on Goku Black. Like, it says kind of volumes that Immortal would be giving this one a 10 out of 10 when he doesn't know as much for both the characters.
I'd also give a 10 out of 10 to my favorite overall episode, which has something similar going for it, where it involves two characters I really don't know that well, but I still really fucking love the episode.
Yeah. So, again, we'll give this one, Madara vs. Aizen, just gets a 10 out of 10 from both of us. This is just, again, I lost count how many times. This is 10 out of 10. Honestly, when Immortal and I were likely going to do, after Season 8 all finished, we're probably going to do a tier maker to, like, rank the episodes for Season 8. This is honestly going to be a heavy contender for, like, #1 spot on the list.
It's going to be difficult finding what ranks in the absolute highest.
But overall, aside from that, again, really good episode. Anyways, with that said, I guess you can prepare to join Immortal at 9 next time when we get to talk about a certain episode that I'm kind of surprised is happening, but I imagine it will be quite fun. Can't wait for
See you all.
The Salt already has been pretty bad on YouTube from what I've seen. I can only imagine the Salt when the next episode drops. But yeah, with all that said, thank you for watching. Again, we'll see you all next time. Bye.
See ya.